Today we're going to focus on the use of there, and there. As seniors in high school, you should be able to use these correctly, and more importantly, as seniors enrolled in a dual credit English course, you should be able to use these correctly. However, as I know from past years, that's not always the case. So since this is one of those things that really irritates me in a final draft, I want to cover what you need to be aware of so that you can receive full credit for at least this piece. So the first thing I want you to know is this is a really important skill that you need to be able to be able to differentiate between they are or there, and there. And what typically happens is when you're writing, you hear the word in your head, and because they all three basically sound the same as you're speaking out loud, when you're writing, and especially when you're writing quickly and not being thoughtful about your word choice, you end up misspelling these or misusing them is really what happens. Because when you misuse them and they're spelled correctly, your autocorrect or your grammar check or your dictionary check, anything that you may use, will not catch these because they're spelled correctly. You have just used them incorrectly. So because it is such an important skill, you're going to find how to use there, and there all over the web. I've chosen, if you look down here, just one website that came up as I type these into a Google search, and this is whiskonline.com. And the reason that I want you to see this is the typical thing that you're going to notice as you go online to figure out how to use there, and there. But there's another thing I think that's a bit more helpful. So typically you're going to see this, then you're going to see, well, I guess let's refresh this a little bit. Sat too long. There we go. There we go. Which one should I use? And then you're going to see three examples. This is pretty typical of what we see when you go online to figure out what you're using. But for most of you, this seems quite easy. This is not usually the problem when you're writing or actually examining somebody else's sentences. You can see the proper way. It's the actual when you're writing that causes some problems for some of you. So we're going to go to the next page, and you'll see again it gives you an overview of what this means and an explanation. There means they are, there refers to a place, and there is a possessive adjective. Again, this is what you're going to find all over the internet and in our handbook as well. But there's one thing I want to show you that will maybe help clarify the actual usage of these. So we're going to look at the example, and you're going to get a handout in just a minute to do some practicing. First, you all know that they are, there is written as the contraction here. You know that. Here's what I want you to know as well. In your academic writing, don't use the apostrophe. Do not create a contraction. If at all possible, always write out the words. If you write them out, you're less likely to make the error with the they are. Okay? Second, there, T-H-E-R-E, deals with locations. Here's another thing to help you remember. Here is also in the word. So we have here and there in one word. That here and there will help you remember that it is a location. It will help you remember this one is location. Remember, if it's here and there, and you can use that in a sentence, use locations. There, T-H-E-I-R, deals with people. It can also deal with animals and objects too, which we'll actually talk about when we get to your handout. But here's how I want you to remember that this use of there refers to people. In the center of the word is he and I. That he and I should remind you that you're dealing with people, so this is the there that you should use. So remember, don't use the contractions anymore. That will eliminate one of the mistakes that you'll make with there, and there. Second, When you're thinking about a location, like I'm going to put my books over there, could you substitute for here? I am going to put my books here. It works. There and here are your locations. That's how I always remember it. There, if I'm dealing with the people or people, a group of people, and we're talking about their books, the students put their books over there. I can think the students put their books. Those belong to people. I know it has to be the he and the I because he and I refer to people. And they put their books over there. I can go back up here and think the location. Location, how do I remember that? Oh yeah, this one has here and there in the word. It will help me remember the location piece. We're going to practice now on the handout that I've given you. You're going to do a couple on your own and then I'll explain some more. You can use this video for future reference if you need to. Remember, just go online and find the link and watch it. Thank you.